You have just tuned into Miles to Go with Brittany Miles. How to lose to gain it all. Listen as coach and healer Brittany Miles shares stories that teach you about surrender and letting go in order to let new and better things come into your life. Learn the true meaning of surrender. Get ready. Here is Brittany showing you how to lose to gain it all.
Hey everyone, happy Thanksgiving Eve and welcome back. So you are here with me, Brittany Miles, on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, how to lose to gain it all. And I'm happy to be here. Just to let you know, I hosted Dr. Pat's show at 10 a.m. Pacific today, and we were talking about connection. And today's show will be part 2 of that. So if you want to, please check me out there. We had a good conversation about how we connect in this time of COVID, how we look at family traditions, how we have an opportunity to change and grow traditions and ourselves by opening ourselves up to compassion, grace for others, and vulnerability so that we can see life as it is and appreciate what is and find the newness there so that we can grow and change. And as a part of that, I was last talking about self-love. And self-love is one of the hardest, most, it feels like death-defying acts or radical acts that we can have for ourselves. We do a lot of talk about self-love, self-care, and we've talked about this a little bit before on the show when I was talking about compassion and self-compassion with Mary Angela McGuire a few months ago. So I encourage you to check that out as well. But during this season of usually busyness and doingness, we are usually doing things for others. And that's always great. But how much do we do for ourselves? And I think, as I said, it is a radical act to love ourselves. And given that life is different, our holidays are different this year, I think 2020 is gifting us the ability to look inside and open up that compassion for ourselves and start to fill in that self-love. All that we have given out in terms of care for others, trying to find ways to ameliorate or ease economic anxieties, just trying to make it through every day. I think we need to give ourselves a break. And something that I've been hearing just from many corners of my life really has been, take it easy, slow down. And again, that's another gift from 2020, where having the ability to slow down gives us a place of rest. And once you rest, you can find out where the thorny bits are. It's that stillness that we talk about, that I talk about, and also within mindfulness, where we can start to examine the hurt spots or the spots that need healing, or just a place, as I said, to take a moment's rest with a breath. And that's important. It's important. We should treat ourselves as well as we treat others. And often we don't. We have fully negative self-talk. We have places where we just focus on the past, focus on our perceived limitations, and that's not good. It's not good for anyone. So your longest relationship in life is with yourself. Most people don't realize that until someone else like myself says it aloud, or they read it in a book and it becomes an aha moment, because we think our longest relationships are external, being our spouses, partners, children, fur family, furry babies, parents. And it's you, because you live with you forever. So the way you treat your spouse, partner, fur baby, children, parents, extended family, cousin, the folks at the grocery store. Treat yourself the way that you treat others. And to me, that's the connection that we're looking for. That's the connection. It's not about wanting to get, as I said in my last show, want to get next to you. It's not really about being with other people and doing things for other people and extending traditions or standing within tradition to gain and get that connection. The connection comes from self, because again, your longest relationship is with yourself, and what you give yourself, then you can give to others. I think we're all familiar with the metaphor of put on your own oxygen mask first, and then you can support someone else in putting it on. That's applicable here. If you have to help yourself and give yourself that love, love is the oxygen that you need. That connection to self, if you can treat yourself really well, you can treat others really well, and you can extend it outward. But why is it so hard? I think our culture tells us that it's important to love thy neighbor as we love ourselves, but we tend to do more for that neighbor. We tend to externalize because we get points for that. Being in community, that's how we evolved, that if we share safety, burdens, foods, worries, we can protect each other. So the group becomes important. So we're social creatures by nature. So taking on that individual role, it's a challenge. Now, one could say in the West, there is a focus on the I versus the East, where there's more of a communal belief system. But I still think that I is hard in either scenario. We're not taught to focus on our own needs. We are taught to focus on other people's needs and put their needs above ourselves. As a mother, we always put our children's needs above ourselves. We put our spouse's needs above ourselves. So we are always at the back. So if we are at the back, again, we are defying the metaphor that I just applied, where we're not even putting on our oxygen mask. We're running out of breath. We're gasping, which is a nice segue back into mindfulness. If you have that oxygen, you can breathe. I'll say it again. Once you have that oxygen, you can breathe. The oxygen being the ability to give to yourself, and to give to yourself first, and to be okay with that. Giving to yourself is the greatest, and as I keep saying, the most radical act you can do. And it's important because nobody will love you, baby, as much as you love yourself. Nothing exists outside of you that you cannot provide yourself. Your external reality is only a reflection of your internal reality. So the more that you can pull in that oxygen, that love, that's what is important for all of us. The better your life becomes. And that's the connection. Again, to me, connection isn't externalized. It's an internal act. It's an inside job. How do we create that connection with ourselves? It's the breath. It's allowing the mind to settle and get into peace. Listening to the places that are hurt, like we've talked about before, those icky, sticky, gooey places, and allowing them to heal and exposing them to sunlight. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And from there, you can find what parts need the most love, and you can send that love there. So I'll say that again. Once you open yourself up and you are vulnerable, and letting those sticky, icky, gooey parts open up to the light, sunlight is the best disinfectant. You can send it love, breathing, healing. And then you can connect to yourself. Wow, that's pretty powerful to me. That sense of vulnerability is the key. And with that, we're going to go to a break. So you're here with Brittany Miles from Miles to Go, How to Lose to Gain It All. And we are talking about self-love as connection. I was talking on the Dr. Pat Show, which I hosted this morning at 10 a.m. Pacific. You can check me out there, We're talking about connection in terms of the holidays, traditions, compassion, self-compassion. But now we're going to talk about connection as a factor of self-love. So stay tuned to learn more. See you after the break.
Are you one of the many women in the world who've carried the burdens of work and family with the added circumstance of the pandemic? Well, you are not alone. Join Mary Rose Campbell with 5 other powerful women on Saturday, December 5th for the International Conference on Resilience for Women, as they share what they've learned to create power for themselves under any circumstance. Walk away with the tools and inspiration to motivate and empower yourself. Don't miss this global online event, Saturday, December 5th, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Stories packed full of possibility, power, and of course, resilience. Be empowered, inspired, and committed to your own well-being. Coming together with powerful women, knowing that you are not facing life alone. Get your tickets now at resilientwomensconference.com under the Register tab. That's resilientwomensconference.com.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, talk radio to thrive by. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out, thedrpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm. Oh my goodness.
Raising the vibrations through stimulating conversations while exploring the mysteries of Atlantis and Lemuria on Tales from the Merworld Radio with me, Amira Beth. Join us every second and fourth Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Be ready to feel empowered and an active part of the changing earth. For more information about me, visit AmiraBeth.com.
Hi, I'm Laura Goldstein, and here's a Coffee with the Universe tip. It's no secret that anxiety and overwhelm are on the rise. While the tendency is to suppress these feelings, anxiety is really a messenger that's telling you something is off, very off. You might be shooting yourself and living a life based on someone else's expectations. Maybe you have trouble saying no. Or maybe you're following the fearful voice in your head that demands you do more, be more in order to feel worthy. So see where you can make a few adjustments in what you're doing to get rid of the overwhelm and create more peace inside instead. To get more tips like this, tune into my Transformation Talk radio show called Coffee with the Universe. It's a live call-in show. I'd love to chat with you.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, happy Thanksgiving. You're here with Brittany Miles on Miles to Go with Brittany Miles, how to lose to gain it all. And today we are talking about self-love and it being a radical act for us to practice, and how I believe that's the true connection that we're looking and longing for. I think that's the gift that 2020 is giving us, or has given us, or continues to give us. I was hosting the Dr. Pat Show at 10 a.m. Pacific today, and we were talking about connection. So check me out there. And one of the things where I ended up in that talk was looking at compassion, self-compassion, self-love, vulnerability. And that's the true connection that we're looking for. It's not necessarily standing in tradition, which is okay at this time of year. That's part of our DNA. But that, I think 2020, again, is giving us a gift of looking at that in a different way. And I think that different way would be self-compassion. I think one of the most important gifts we can give ourselves in terms of love, and again, with this time of year, I know I keep harping on that, is rest. I think the stillness of 2020 has slowed us down, where it gives us the opportunity to open our hearts to that vulnerability and looking at all those icky, gooey spots, which need, hope and help and healing. And part of that is rest. So for a real concrete example, today's show is going to be about 30 minutes because I need to rest. I'm catching a cold. And normally I would power through, and in discussion with my lovely producer, the lovely Olivia, she's like, you know what? Nope, we can do this. We can make this work on our end. And by being vulnerable, by opening up and saying, hey, this is what I need, I got a response, and it was a positive one. I was happy about that. And by asking for what you want, because you love yourself enough to ask for your needs to be met, something remarkable can happen. It's important for us to rest. It's important for us to rest our minds, to rest our bodies, to rest our spirits. And with the radical act of self-love, you open the way for yourself to slow down. And with slowing down, you get to see, again, everything as it is, not as you want to be. And you get to make different choices about how you want to experience life. Instead of having life experience you, if you will, you get to actually be an active participant. You're just not running around doing something. And we've talked about that a lot here, doing something, and kind of my Oprah voice. What are we going to do? What are we trying to do? Most of the time we have no clear idea, no clear agenda. Just, we got to do something because that's what we're told. And again, that's because we are social creatures. We live in a community. So we want to support the community and doing, because we need to support the community. And specifically as women, we're always doing something. But the more that we slow down and get radical with ourselves and realize, maybe I don't need to do anything. Maybe I just need to be, and I can get that rest. And through rest, we can move forward and think through what that next step is. But it is only through rest that we can open ourselves up to self-love. It's through rest where we become vulnerable. It's through rest where we hear where we don't belong and have longings to have life be different than it is. It's through rest when we realize we're really not separate from others. We're really connected to each other. There is nothing in nature and life and spirit that is disconnected. The connection comes through you, through self-love and that wholeness. In the Dr. Pat Show, I was talking a little bit more about spirit and nature. And I think those are really important components, because in modern life, we think that we are apart from nature. I'm very fortunate to live in a very wooded area where I am able to experience and be fully present to nature around me, where I can hear the sounds and rustlings of nature. And whenever I feel disconnected, I go outside and I become grounded and I become connected again. And that connection hits me directly in my heart space, not in my brain, but in my heart space. And then I realize that I am at one with everything else in the world. And once I realize that I'm at one with everything else in the world, I can then become reconnected to others. So the work is an inside job. The work is an act of vulnerability. I called it radical, and it is. But I'm trying to think. Radical is correct, but I want to give it something softer, something smoother, something that you can take away and put in your pocket. It's love, it's support, it's vulnerability. It's the ability to expose your true self to others. And that's what I really mean by vulnerability. All of your foibles, all of your faults, perceived or not, failings, all of that And then all of the good, your true heart, your true nature, how you show up in the world if you really are your own self. That is self-love. That is the connection. By remembering that you are at one with everyone else, and everyone else, to be quite frank, has the same feeling that they are not enough, that they are limited beings, and perhaps don't have that self-love. So I encourage you to be the change agent in your own life and take responsibility for yourself and love yourself. Just relax, be at peace, take some rest. And when others see you, they will too then be like, maybe her recipe is something that I can take on and something that I can adopt. So each one teach one, as I used to say back in the day. And then also, by doing this work, someone else can become connected to you, because your life story, your life work, your healing and hope, your pathway could be the map that guides another person's healing. So again, what you demonstrate out in the world, how you show up in the world, how you are as a person with your radical act of self-love, you can impact and connect to another by giving them the way, giving them the North Star. That's really powerful. You know, guys, I always have these little aha moments. I feel like, again, like Oprah, when she's interviewing, she's like, And I think of myself as potentially your North Star. And I hope that this show can be that beacon that helps you to learn how to love yourself and how to transform your life and how to be open and vulnerable and being not afraid, not ashamed to show who you are to the world and show up as that person in the world. And with that, you can be, as I said, that change agent, that beacon, that North Star. You can lead people along with yourself to that place of divine connection, divine love, divine peace. And with that, you'll have the, as they say in the Bible, the peace which surpasses understanding. You can go forth in the world and know you're connected. You're not separate. You're not apart. You're part of a big spinning rock in space, living fully in nature and in the divinity of the divine. And again, wow, that's pretty cool. You're living within the divinity of the divine. So the universe has your back, which is another powerful thing. And the universe wants you to love yourself, because the universe wants you to love you as much as it loves you. And you're always connected to the universe. It always shows up in the best way for you. Even though sometimes it could be a hard lesson, try to make it an easy lesson. Remember, put that oxygen mask on first. And with that, I want to say thank you. This has been a great show. As I said, lots of aha moments. I think I packed a lot within my 30 minutes. And I want to say thank you to Dr. Pat for letting me host earlier today. And I hope some of you followed me from that show to here or vice versa. I've just been wallowing in just talking off the top of my head about connection and self-love. And I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope it has resonated with you. Have a happy and safe holiday. However that's showing up for you, whether it be Zoom, Thanksgiving, small COVID bubble, could be alone, but you're not lonely. You're still connected to others in the world. As I said, be safe, be well, be loved. Wishing you peace. Thank you. See you in 2 weeks. Take care.
You have been listening to Miles to Go with Brittany Miles. How to lose to gain it all. Tune in live every second and fourth Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where Brittany Miles teaches you how to lose to gain it all with the healing power of surrender. Are you ready to lead a happier life? For more information or to connect with Brittany, visit miles2gocoaching.com. That's Miles with the number 2, GO,
Views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the station, its management, or advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.